Hi, welcome back, everyone. Or
That was
welcome
an awkward
welcome
hi.
us back. Hi, no, because I was trying to see. Yeah, we're so out of touch.
You know
Welcome
what that
back to
reminded
the
me of?
What's New Mama
Wait,
podcast.
you know what that reminded me of? It
What
reminded
happened?
me of, you know that meme of there's like a docu-series on TLC. I've never seen it, but I've seen like the clips on Instagram. And I think it's
Mm-hmm.
like Little People, Big World or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it's the black lady and she comes in the room, I think after she was talking crap about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, hi. And it's like this awkward, like, that's what
I
you just
wasn't sure
reminded
if
me
I
of.
had to say hi or not because I'm looking. You said okay, and mine still says 0%, and I'm like, okay,
So clearly
hi.
you've been out of it for a
Yeah.
while. So we have no, we're trying to get the rhythm back.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted your intro.
Hi, welcome back. We are the What's New Mama podcast, and we are your hosts, Amy and Giselle.
Hi, guys.
It's been a while. We have been very busy. Our schedules were not coinciding a lot,
Yeah.
so we had like zero time to record. And if we did, it was like, oh, our kids needed us
Yeah.
a
That's
lot.
priority.
Yeah. So we had to just kind of put this on the back burner. So thank you for everyone who's kind of like being patient and waiting to
Yeah.
hear from us again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, all right. And then, you know, we were like, oh yeah, when we did this last catch-up episode before, we were like, all right, we're going to get back to the groove. And then
Yeah.
it's like,
It was
we
like, yeah,
disappeared.
no. Life
Well,
decided that it was going to life.
life
So
was
it was like,
lifing.
yeah. It
Yeah.
was like, nope, you're not going to record, actually.
No. And I'm still sick, for those people that are just listening. And if you're watching, you can see like I'm puffy. Oh, concealer can only do so much. And blush can only do so much. I'm puffy as hell. I was on vacation. That was one of the things, so we couldn't record. But we were planning on recording before I had left to vacation. But then you had to change your schedule too.
Yeah.
But when I got back from vacation from freaking paradise, we went to Costa Rica. And of course, Derek got sick. Then Tom got sick. And I was good. I was good for like 3 days.
So you thought.
So I thought. And then I woke up. I literally couldn't breathe. I was still stuffed up. And it's to the point where I'm drinking something and I feel like I'm being tortured, like drowned.
Waterboarded?
Because, because I am breathing through my mouth. I've become a mouth breather now. Like,
oh my God.
And so I've had like mini panic attacks like throughout my workday and things like that when I go to drink water. I'm like, it's just a unsettling feeling because you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Literally have tried everything that I possibly could. And then I even got a big boy of these.
Oh my God.
And it still doesn't, it's not the miracle drug I thought it was. And they must have changed the formula because it's still not opening up the passages. No. And it sucks because I was okay, but I still wasn't sleeping because Tom and Derek were, coughing up all night. Obviously that kept me up. Then I was also picking up the extra slack. Like, we're very balanced. So when one of us is down, it's like you just got to step it up, right? So on top of my job, on top of everything else, there was all of that, which is just life. That's what we signed up for. And then now that I'm sick, today I slept in because we were supposed to record earlier. And Tom took over, right? Because he's feeling a little bit better.
Okay,
Derek
good.
is still like congested and coughing. But he took him from the bed. He's been with him. And then I slept in, which was marvelous because it was the first night I actually didn't feel like I was being smothered to death because I could breathe a little bit. But yeah, so that's been my recent week. And I resigned from my job. So it's been a lot of big,
you're like, yep,
big changes.
It's done.
Yeah, I'm done with the whole, like, working all day, literally. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. But anyway, But vacation was good.
That's good.
It was really nice. I took my mom. My mom hasn't been
Yes.
anywhere in like 26
I
years.
was surprised when you said you were taking your mom.
Yeah, I mean, I've discussed it before. We have a challenging relationship. Uh, but it was one of those things like Tom brought it up. Like
Hmm.
he was like, "Do you think your mom would want to go?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like it was so nice for him to even be the one to suggest that to me. Like it meant a lot. And he was like, "Yeah, like you're getting older, and we got to make sure that like again, these are all reminders too that you get regularly. Like your parents are getting older, you see them getting sick, you see them achy and all these things, and you're just
Hmm.
like, oh, I should do better. I should try and make more time. And then after
Hmm.
everything that happened this summer, we really like it was at the forefront of our minds. Like we need to make sure we show up and we make time for the people that are still around and that
Hmm.
care and love us, right? And I was like, after I processed that request from him or that suggestion from him,
Hmm.
it's like I think I can deal with my mom on
I can stomach
vacation.
my mom for like a week.
On vacation, because it's different. It's different. Like up until the December stay that she had here, we haven't spent like uh what's the word, like an extended amount of time together like that.
Hmm.
Um, just when I was living in California and I came to visit, I stayed at my brother's, and then she got offended that I stayed at my brother's instead of staying at her house. She's
Hmm.
like, "Oh, pero tú vienes aquí, tú no te quedas aquí conmigo, whatever." And I'm like, "Cause you're in Yonkers, like you're." I like being in the boroughs where I can take the subway and walk
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
whatever. So anyway, point is, I had to mentally prep myself for that, and
Yeah.
I know I'm not alone in that because I know different cultures, obviously, being first generation, being the daughter is also different in the Latin community. Because a lot of the responsibilities and a lot of like the unloading of her own emotional stuff goes on to like I don't know. I know I've read this before, but I feel like the moms unload on the girls more than the boys, right? There's
Hmm.
obviously, it stems from the machismo and all that stuff or whatever. So I had to mentally prep myself to hear the same story 30 times in like 2 days. I had to mentally prep myself for criticism, for comments on my hair, my body, like maybe my parenting. Like I had to
Hmm.
place those barriers and those boundaries up to the point where I was like, okay, I've done the work. I've been to therapy. I've like I've done the work to like arm myself for these things in case it pops up, right?
Yes.
And so, we planned it. I had told her about this vacation months, right? Months ago, because that was when we first thought of it.
Hmm.
Of course, it starts off with already she didn't have a suitcase. She didn't have clothes for it. She didn't have, and this was a week or two leading up to the trip.
Hmm.
She didn't have anything prepped, and like, and then I also have to put myself in her shoes. She hasn't traveled anywhere in 26 years. Like,
Hmm. She
so
hasn't even been to DR.
no, she never wants to go back.
Oh, okay.
She never wants to go back. I suggested, I was like, do you want to go to DR? And it would have been cheaper for us. It would have been like half the
Hmm.
cost.
Hmm.
Um, and she was like, no. She's like, I don't ever want to go there unless I really, really have to.
Yeah.
Um, she's like, no. Like it was, and that was another thing. Like I had to keep reminding myself, like she has trauma within her that she has not dealt with.
Resolved. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I found myself trying to make her happy throughout that trip. And leading up to the trip, I had expectations of like her feeling like, oh my God, like I'm somewhere else. This is great. This is whatever. That was my fault. Like I shouldn't have had that expectation
Hmm.
too. But as the trip went on and other things, like I realized she has things that haunt her, right? Like for lack of a better word, that she has not resolved. And
Hmm.
so there are things that in my mind, I'm like, just be in the moment and like enjoy this and like, wow, look at how certain people are living. And then we're here and, we complain about the smallest little things, right?
Hmm.
Like first world problems. Like, um, And I was like disappointed, and it caused a friction between us at some points during the trip because she would complain about something. She would complain about, um, like, we got this really nice villa that was like a stay for like 4 couples if they wanted to, and it had its own house, like what do you call those pools? Infinity pools, like all of that. And like we got there, and she's like, "Oh, you guys got this house so high up." Like instead of like saying like, "Oh wow, like this is a beautiful," like it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. But then I realized after talking to her, like it annoyed me. It annoyed me instantly. It annoyed me because I'm like, this is what you choose to focus on when we're here, and it's beautiful and whatever. And then she was like, because I didn't realize she was so scared of heights, and it was the highest one up, like the top of the mountain. So you had a beautiful view, but I didn't realize like she was so terrified of heights.
Yeah.
Like I knew she was scared of heights, but like not to that extent where she literally covered the windows. Like she couldn't look out the windows. So like little things like that.
Oh, okay.
And
wow, she's really scared.
yeah, but then as time went on, she got a little bit more comfortable. She was by the pool and things like that. But like little things like that was like a jab and a jab. Then I also have to remind myself to not get so triggered because it's again, and I know I mentioned it before, it's like you revert back to the childlike version of yourself where you think, is anything ever going to be good enough for you? Like, is anything ever going to make you happy? And I realized, like, after taking photos and all that stuff with her, I look at the photos and I'm like, you don't look happy ever. Like, but she doesn't. And, like, that's something that we know of her. And it makes me so sad. Like, it's just, she's never going to find her happiness. She has not dealt with her childhood trauma and her adulthood trauma. Like it just built up. Like it's built up. And I was so like, I just wanted her to have a good time. I wanted her to like get away from those thoughts. And while we were there, you know, she got calls about my uncle. Yes, he had to have like his toes amputated and like all these things.
Sorry.
So thank you. And it's just like all these things that she kept talking about. And I'm like, Ma, you're on vacation. Like, and even Ramel like told her like, Ma, like, stop calling back to check in on people. Just enjoy your vacation. Because then it's like she never left. And then she's in the middle of all these things that are going on. My grandmother's not doing well, blah, blah, blah. So then instead of me also getting away on my vacation,
she's stressing
I
you out.
heard about it multiple times in the day.
Yeah.
To the point where one day, like I told her, I was like, Ma, I'm on vacation. I don't want to hear these things. I go on vacation to get away and to just like, I know it's going to be there when we get back because he was in the hospital like before we left. I know there are things that are going to be there when we get back. I need this escape from certain realities. Like, I don't want to have to worry about that. And like, and then I look at it and then I self-analyze and I'm like, oh, like, am I being considerate, blah, blah, blah. And then I toggle between those two. So this vacation it was nice from one angle. It was really nice for Derek and Tom and I. And it was nice that I was able to take her somewhere and like have her be somewhere new and all that stuff. But her mind cannot take a vacation. She can't escape. And so that was a lot of that. That was a lot of that. And you know, her own body issues too. Like I bought her clothes for the trip. You know, that was also something that made me feel really good. Like I took her shopping and I was like, what do you want? Like, this is our budget. What do you want? She didn't want anything because she's like, oh no, this doesn't look good on me. I'm too fat. I'm too this and whatever. And that all reminded me of like all the stuff I heard growing up from her. Like either her talking about herself or her talking about me. And it didn't affect me because I've obviously like worked through those things, but it made me again so sad that this is how she views herself and her day to day. And in my mind, I'm like, that's exhausting. Like literally everything. Like I bought her like this, you know, one of the dresses that I have that's like a workout dress that has like, it's like a workout type of material. that went like viral during the summer because it has shorts underneath and has pockets. Okay. Like one of those little tank top dresses, right? Super airy. If you wanted to, you could go into the pool with it. One of those. And I'm like, it looks nice on you. Like, you should wear that. And she's like, no, porque mira aquí, and whatever, lo brazo. Se me mira la carne. Yeah. And so I'm like, ma, but like, when are you're 70 something, like, enjoy the rest of your life that you have to live. Especially like her, she got a second chance to live after cancer and all these things. Like, and I tell her that too, like, you had a second chance to live. Not even that, she almost died from COVID. That was another reminder, and I tell her all these things, and sometimes it registers because she'll bring it up too. And she's like, pero si me hubiera muerto cuando estaba en el hospital con COVID and whatever. I'm like, yeah. So, and you'll see little glimpses, not you, but like I'll see little glimpses throughout the trip where she did look really happy. But then I see like she'll talk to my aunt and they'll talk about my uncle or my grandmother and all that stuff. And it's almost like she feels guilty to feel happy because I think all these other people are going through whatever.
That does happen. Yeah.
And that then reminded me of just the mom guilt. Like how some moms feel guilty for even having fun or enjoying themselves or doing a hobby or even something as non-controversial as working out. Like there's times I felt guilty for working out because I wasn't taking that time to read a book or play with Derek or whatever. But there are certain things that are necessary in order for you to function as a human being, as your own self, not as the worker for your corporate America job or whatever, not as the mother, not as the wife, not as the partner, not as the friend, not as, just as you, as the individual. She doesn't know how to be that.
Yeah.
And that makes me so sad.
I mean, it's like they've lived such a long time and they haven't had, like you said, a chance to really work on themselves internally. Yeah. I feel like they're just stuck in this one role of taking care of everyone, right? Yeah. Around them. So it's kind of hard to turn that off.
So it's just like,
so that's just something they do. They might like acknowledge it for a bit and then it just goes right back to where they were.
It's so embedded in who they are. They don't know what else to be, And so that was the trip. But I mean, Costa Rica is like our second home. Like we love it. Derek was like a vampire. He did not like the sun. The minute
he was so red, like the pictures
he got pink
that you sent.
Immediately. Immediately he got pink and like red.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I guess my dog opened the door. She was looking for me. I could hear her pitter patter under the door. And she pushed it with her nose. And I guess it doesn't latch.
Yeah.
So she pushed it open.
You should show her one day. She's so cute.
She was sitting behind me. I thought she was going to sit with me to record. Oh. But then she'll start crying because she wants to go out and play with the kids.
Gotcha. So. She has FOMO.
So Derek was turning red almost immediately.
Red. Yep. Immediately. Like we would go out because it was 90 something degrees. And then you would go into the sun and all that. And it was one of those things that I had to readjust my expectation for vacation. It was different when we would take him when he was younger because he would just do whatever
with you.
Yeah. Now as a toddler,
he's like, no, I don't want to do this.
No.
I don't want to be in the sand. I don't want the sun.
I don't want to eat this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm hot. Yep. Oh my God. I know I told you. We went to the beach one day and he didn't want to go into the water. So I stayed with him on the sand. And then my mom and Tom went into the water. And I think I texted you and Jess about it. Of course, a wave comes. It goes all the way up. And then we had like towels set up. And I had like my aloe tote bag with some like our stuff, and then his little backpack had like our important stuff in it. And the wave went to take it, and all I could muster up because I was holding on to Derek, obviously. I'm like, Tom. He goes, and my mom goes, "Ay, se va a llevar la toalla, se va a llevar." Se va a llevar la cosa. Hi. So, but luckily all we lost was one flip-flop.
Okay.
And I think we thought we lost one of his shoes. Mm-hmm. But we got that. So my mom lost one of her flip-flops, but which was really mine because I had given it to her.
Yeah.
And that's pretty funny. Much it. So we were like, oh, that's a wrap. So we got back in the car. All of our shit was soaked. We had to like wring it out. And I was just like, don't let this ruin the day. Don't let this ruin the day. And instead, like, we went back. We ended up like showering, changing. And then we just, I don't remember what we hung out. Like, we tried to adjust. Yeah. The expectations, you know, with the expectations, with reality.
It's rough, yeah.
Derek didn't want to eat, so he's in that toddler phase where if it's not, and like this is a kid that you would literally give him anything, he would eat it. It doesn't matter, except for sweets. He wasn't too big on sweets. Vegetables, all that stuff, you would give it to him, rice, beans, blah, blah, blah. No problem. Went there, all he wanted was crackers. Sometimes a pouch, like one of the, which we brought, and then a bar, like which was one of those like multi-grain natural bars. That's it. And my mom did cook. She cooked like twice or 3 times while we were there because she also was like, "Ay, esta comida está mal aquí." I was like, "So do you want to cook? Because if you want to cook, I can. You know, we bought groceries and all that, and it was delicious. It was
I can see. Yeah, you guys having issues with the food. It's kind of heavy. I want to say it's very similar to Nicaragüense food in the morning.
So we love the food, but my mom, again, she doesn't know what to expect, right? So I guess it's a different.
But was she probably thinking like American continental breakfast?
No.
Do stuff?
It's just we would get like rice and beans and bistec and like all that stuff because that was like el casado. Like over there, it's you get your rice, you get your frijoles and whatever. But the frijoles aren't Dominican beans; no. They're drier.
Like they're just boiled usually.
I love like the caldo. Like my mom likes the caldo. So I don't think these weren't fried. They were boiled, but you know how like you can wring it out where you don't have the caldo?
Liquid,
So it was just beans. And she was like, esa bichuela tan seca. And I'm like, whatever. Obviously, Tom's like, what's she saying? I was like, oh, nothing. Like, and then there was another thing. I was a buffer between the two of them. Like, they communicate because Tom can understand some words. My mom can, like, do some words in English, but I also had to, like, be the translator. And so there were times, but I will say that first meal that we had, it was not good. So she did have a point there. It was not good. The steak was not good. And we've gone to that place before and it was great the other times. I don't know what happened. But she left the whole plate. And like that annoyed me a little bit because I was like, if you didn't want this, you should have just told me. She's like, no, pero yo no tenía hambre como quiera. And I was like, so then why'd you order it? You didn't have to, you know? She's like, no, pero yo ahí ordenando para probar and whatever. And I'm like, okay. But then I had to like be honest with myself, like it wasn't that good. Yeah. And so we would go to different places and then there were certain spots like in Santa Teresa, like we know certain places there that we like and that we know are really good. So we would go there for like lunch or like brunch type of time. There are other places like we would get pizza from like one of the places there. It's not going to be pizza like New York.
Yeah, it's totally different.
It's all very different. The cheese tastes like you straight up got it from the farm. The yogurt straight up tastes any dairy. The eggs taste like I just got it right now from the chicken.
Like which is type probably of stuff. The case.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the fruits, vegetables, all that stuff, you taste the difference. And I didn't prep her for that because I forgot, you know, like I forgot.
But she's also been here most of her life too.
So she's used to all the crap that we put in our food, right? The chicken's going to be different. The texture's going to be different. The fruits are amazing. Yeah. But when you eat a yogurt over there or you eat, which Derek, I got him like, cause he loves Greek yogurt. So I got him like a Greek yogurt from over there, gave it to him. He like he tasted sour. It. It was not good. Like I tried to force myself to eat it.
Like it's not good.
And I was like, no. Mm-hmm. All right, you have a point. You have a point, Derek. I won't force you to eat this. Yeah. But there were certain things that I should have prepped her for. Mm-hmm. Right? Because I felt like at this point, I was the parent, she was the kid. Like when you take your kid on vacation, unless it's Disney World, they don't know what to expect, right? Mm-hmm. You know, like you have to be able to set the proper expectations. And I just forgot that. I forgot. And so looking back on the trip, I was like, okay, I could have done this a little bit better. Could have done that. There was one argument that her and I got into, like throughout the whole trip. We got into like a little argument about something because she complained. We moved around. We went to different places. Mm-hmm. And on the last house that we stayed at was in Tamarindo. Mm-hmm. And it's like a super touristy spot. And we did like Airbnbs because instead of hotels, which we normally do, because we wanted that separate privacy. We wanted the different rooms and all that stuff, right? And she said something and I was like, tú nunca vas a ser feliz. Like, nothing's ever going to make you happy. And like, I was like, why can't you just enjoy it? Like it all came out. Like it all came out. And yeah. And then I was like, you're just ungrateful. Mm-hmm. Like, said, tú eres malagradecida. Sounds harsher in Spanish. Yeah. And like, I hate saying it in Spanish because to me, it sounds harsh. Yes. And when I said it, I was like, oh man, I wish I could have taken it back. And then she started crying. And then I started crying. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, but you don't understand. Like, we did this. Like, you didn't have to come. If you didn't want to, if you wanted to be home in your comfort and not leave that environment, you could have stayed home. You didn't have to say yes. Like, we could have just, whatever. Or I gave her options. I told her Colombia, DR, could have easily done Florida, which we didn't really want to do. And all that stuff. So worked through that. She sat on the outside by the pool, and then I went upstairs and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I shouldn't have said that like that, even if it was true, but I shouldn't have said it like that. And so I tried to talk to her, and we were walking. We went to go get dinner and like ice cream and stuff. We were walking, and Tom went and with Derek, because obviously he knew something was up.
He kind of sniffed it out.
Sniffed it out. And like I told him, yeah. And he went ahead, and then I stayed behind. I was like, look, I don't want to I don't mean to get you upset. Like, I'm sorry. It's just, it doesn't feel good when you're pinpointing little things, y tú buscas la queja, and all these things when we worked really hard for this. Like, Tom did a lot of planning, because I didn't do any planning. Tom is the planner. Tom did a lot of planning. I gotta be honest, like, it wasn't me. But
Side note, she didn't even know where she was going.
No.
When I asked you were like, I think.
I didn't even know the order of things. Yeah. Even when we got there, I was like, where are we going first? Where's the second place? That's our dynamic, people. That's just what it is. I'm not the planner. I'm very much a wing it person, especially when it comes to things like that. Tom is the planner to the T. So, and then and she got like emotional again. And she's like, pero es que tú crees que yo sé, yo aprecio mucho lo que tú hiciste, whatever. She's like, I haven't been anywhere so long. And that's when I realized, like, she did appreciate it, but it's just her way of showing the appreciation. It's just, I was a complicated person.
Yeah. And I mean, how you're telling me these stories, and I'm thinking, damn, my mom's the exact same way. Because she says shit too, and I'll be like, but I've gone to the point where I've already had this conversation with her about how, I don't think she's ever happy with anything that I've done, kind of situation.
Gotcha.
So we've had our blow where we've come to, like, I've had her come to Jesus at this moment. Like, I've gone in her face about it. Where I've made her cry. And let me tell you, I don't feel bad about it, because she needed to know at that point in time. And then just like now she still does the same shit. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, because that's it. It's like you're set in your ways. It's like, and I feel like me telling you this over and over again, it's just going to make me exhausted. I'm going to be mad. So now if she says something dumb, I'll be like, oh, sí, así la cosa. And I'll be laughing. And I just sit back and I'm just like, whatever.
But see, you've had time to like build to that.
Yeah.
This was my sharp reminder of this is who she is. This is what it's like.
So I think like going forward, you're going to be, if you decide to do this again, is the question. If you do decide to do this again, you'll be more prepared. I mean, you'll be more like.
I'm pretty sure I would.
Yeah. You just be more like, all right, you know, this is how she is.
Yeah. There was a slight delay, so if you probably realized that after when I was responding to. Definitely. I mean, the way we look at it is like it's the first time, and like, oh, one of the things that reminds me. So if I do this again, right? So I told her, I was like, why don't you just borrow a suitcase for now? Because she didn't have a suitcase. Even though again, we planned this for months. And I was like, just borrow a suitcase from your Mel or my aunt or whatever for now. Just for now, so that we are not rushing to get a suitcase. She went and bought a suitcase that was the wrong size and I'm like, Ma, and like from the beginning, that day, because I had to help. I thought she was packed already, ready to go. And when I showed up to her house to help her with the suitcase and bring her down, I was like, what is this? What?
I think I found out that you have to be so very specific with shit with your parents. It's like suitcase, you got to tell them it has to be this size, this big.
They're the child.
You have to be so specific because they're reverting back to being useless. I don't want to say useless.
And then God forbid you even really highlight that or you mention something along those lines because they'll get super offended.
You kind of have to step it up silently. I think a little bit.
Which is exhausting in its own way because I feel like and my brother would probably say the same thing. We both feel like we've had that responsibility for so long. But it is what it is, you know, like we had to, like there was no father figure. So you just had to kind of step up and do what you got to do, you know? But it was nice. Like I highlighted these certain things because yes, it's a typical vacation. It was nice to get away and do all the stuff. I had a lot of thinking to go through where I wanted my life to be, if I still wanted to do this job, like all these other things, planning of our future home environment, like like what are we gonna, you know, things like that, like all that stuff that usually you go through a vacation, like little getaway. I got a little bit of a tan, somewhat. My face is always paler than my body, but it is what it is. It was nice. And I feel like even though there were some tough moments between her and I, they're necessary moments because I needed to say what I had to say. And she needed to hear it. Like she needed to hear how her behavior or her face, like that was one of the things I told her. I was like, you know, yeah, we're having a good time or whatever, but tú estás con una cara, like, you know,
I'm familiar
con una
with the
cara,
face.
and it's like, si tú no quieres estar aquí, tú no tienes que estar aquí, tú no tienes que venir, you know. And so those conversations needed to happen, but I need to do better with my tone. So that's where I look back and I'm like how you say you don't regret, like when you've spoken to your mom about those tough things. I don't regret it, but I should have done better with my tone. And even when I was talking to Tom about it, he was like, you know, but he's like, you know, you got to remember she's older. She hasn't been anywhere. And like he plays the, because he understands both sides, obviously, from the outside.
And that's good. I'm glad that he does.
He's
mediate.
Well, he mediates for me, not for her, because obviously, you know.
Obviously, yeah.
And he also knows, he's like, I don't want to be in the middle of it. Like, he's like, I don't want. Because at one point she apologized to him, and he was like, "Why did you tell your mom that?" He's like, "You told your mom I was upset," and I was like, "No, I just told her like she can't have this face on, like." Yeah.
Change your face, bro.
Yeah. And she basically told him, like, I appreciate you doing this for me and, like, all of that. And he's like, of course. Like, it's like, you don't have to thank me. Like, Tom is very big on, you don't have to thank me. I do this because I love your daughter. Like, you're her mom. Like, he does things out of love.
Yeah.
And he doesn't expect a thank you. But I always say thank you for everything. Like, even him making my tea or whatever it is. Like, he's like, you don't have to thank me for that. And I was like, I know. But that's just my personality.
Yeah.
So he was like, did you tell her I was upset with her? And I was like, no, it's just she felt bad. Like, she realized, like, she's kind of being a Debbie Downer about shit and whatever. And then another part of it too, like, for me, it was a little bit stressful because obviously Derek wasn't eating. He was full on toddler mode, right? He was kicking. He's in the throwing stage now where he's throwing toys. Obviously, that's all normal developmental milestone stuff. But he threw a toy and it hit me right here once, right? Literally 7 days later, threw another toy, hit me right here in the same place, and I still have a bump, and it's like hard. I know I texted you guys about it. I yelled at him because it was such a it was painful, and he threw a toy at my mom and it hit her in the mouth. Like, he threw it, he throws it, and he throws it like, like, and I'm like, he needs to, it's not like he intentionally wants to hit you. It's not like that at all. And so that's why I had to, like, check myself. But I yelled at him twice during the trip, and he was like, and like, he'll start crying and he'll go, sorry. He'll do the sign for sorry. And I felt instantly like shit. So that was definitely like a parenting moment where I haven't experienced that until now. And I had to, like, Tom and I was like telling Tom, I was like, I need to check myself. Like, that was very frustrating. And like, we've normally, like, we'll step away or the other one will take over or whatever. But like, something like that would happen in the car or when we were hanging in the living room or whatever it is. And, I would go in and I would apologize to him afterwards. Like, I'm sorry for yelling. I know he doesn't understand really, but I feel like he does to a certain extent. Like, afterwards, I hugged him. I said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have yelled at you. I'm going to do better. Like, because I remember, like, that reminded me of the times where I would get yelled at or hit or whatever as a kid. Like, how terrifying that is, And he's so young, but I felt so shitty. And I kept beating myself up over that. And Tom's like, it happens. Like, you're tired. You're dealing with your mom. You're dealing with, we're somewhere else. He doesn't want to eat. You're trying to force him to eat. Like, all these things. And then you're also reacting to pain. But, I think it's important. And you mentioned it too. It's what you do after the fact. Like, do you apologize to your kid? Or do you acknowledge that, that you shouldn't have done that? And I see the parallel between that and my mom. Like, how I was talking to her and trying to get through to her about how I felt. And it was just so frustrating because she didn't own how her actions or her looks that she was giving, la cara that she had, was impacting me or us, So it was a very growth inducing trip. I don't know if that's the word, but so this'll be the last vacation of its type for a bit. Like, next year we'll go somewhere else, but we probably won't stay in 3 different places for that long. We'll probably go for one spot.
Yeah.
Because that's also stressful. You're in the car, driving. We took a ferry.
In a different country.
We had to take the ferry. There were all these things. And normally we love that stuff. But with the toddler, like, it's different. It's so different.
It is.
With a baby, you can take them anywhere. An infant, you can take them anywhere. A toddler,
you're on their schedule. And then they rule.
A senior citizen,
everything.
Like,
they're on definitely.
You have now 2 groups of human beings two categories that are picky eaters are set in their ways.
They're very similar. Different ages, big age gap, but similar. Yeah. They're very similar.
Yeah. So it was enlightening.
Yeah.
That was my process.
Oh man. I'm trying to think of what happened when you were gone. We got sick.
You got that stomach bug that's going around.
There was a stomach bug and I didn't even catch on to it. And it was so funny because Sienna had come home from school and she was like, Mom, this kid in my class threw up and during recess. And I was like, were you near this person? Like, I was just like, oh my God. And then it's funny because I think and I hate saying this, I'm so sorry, Sienna, if you ever see these, I'm about to sell you out. She pooped her pants. And she's very good about going to the bathroom and everything. So I was surprised. Like, she came home. She was hanging out with us after school. It was like Thursday. Yeah. And she goes, Mom. And she's screaming. And I'm like, what is it? What is it? She's like, Aww. So she's crying. And I'm like, what's going on? Is your stomach hurting? She's like, no, my stomach doesn't hurt. But apparently she farted and it came out. So I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, I was like, are you okay? And then I started noticing it was like very slow on the pickup on my end because it didn't put two and two together. The kid that barfed and then she had diarrhea. And I was like, I sent her to school on Friday. She was fine. She came home. She looked okay. She wasn't eating. She didn't eat dinner that night. I saw her run to the bathroom a couple times and I was like, are you going to the bathroom? She's like, yeah, I'm going to the bathroom. Okay. Then I think it was Saturday night. She was just like all day in undercovers. She wasn't feeling well. I was like, okay, this is serious. Saturday, like Saturday evening, Milo's like, Mom, my stomach hurts. And I'm like, oh, here we go. But he's very vocal. Mom, my stomach. He starts looking like very lethargic. And I'm like, uh-oh. He's like, I hate him. He's like the poltergeist or like, he's just like, I don't know if it's that movie. I don't remember what movie it was. Exorcist, maybe, where they're like head spinning and they're throwing up. I
hate him.
That's him. So my poor kid, I hate it. I do, because I didn't realize how weak of a person I am until you see a 3-year-old vomiting. I am a sympathy gagger. I can't smell it. I can't hear it. I can't watch it. I didn't know I was like that until him, because I guess he's a barfer. So he wasn't going through, whatever stomach bug he had, it wasn't diarrhea, south. It was north.
Gotcha.
Yes. And I was just like, it's like he did it all over Victor, which was the worst part, because he had him on the on his lap. So he went on him first. And I was like, well, better you than me. So thank God he was home, because it was I think that Saturday he came home. He was home. And I was like, thank God, because if this would have happened with you working this weekend, I would have been crying. You would have found me outside and vomit covering the house.
Because both of you guys would have been throwing up.
I can't. Yeah, because I was like, I can't hold it. And then he did it again on me. On my, and then that's when and this is because I was sitting with him on the floor, because I was afraid he was going to do it on the bed. So I was trying to keep him on the floor for a little while to make sure his stomach had settled, and he did it again on me. And that's when I couldn't get up from the floor. It was like, you should have seen me. I was like trying to get up, and I was like, I'm gonna throw up. I can't. I was like, I can't do this. So Vic had to clean the room. He had to sanitize everything. We opened all the windows to get the air going, because I couldn't smell it. Because if I smell it, I am going to throw up too. Yeah, and it was like that. He did that in the morning also. On Sunday morning, he also did that. So he was sick for like 2 days, but then he calmed down. It's like I only gave him water, and he still threw up the water. And that's when I knew. I was like, all right, nothing for a little while. Yeah, let you settle down. And then he started eating crackers, soup, and I gave him a Pedialyte, like the
little pops,
the little popsicles. He liked those, and he had that, and then he was fine. Sienna took a little longer to get better. She was still not going well to the bathroom, because she's also the world's pickiest eater, so she wasn't eating anything. So I was giving her crackers, rice.
Bagels? Wasn't she eating
all she
bagels?
Eats, rice. Bagels. Yeah.
Oh,
so
man. And then
that
Vic
took
and
forever.
you got
and
it,
then
right?
after all that, I started feeling sick Monday night. I was like I couldn't keep my food. Like I felt full, very full. And I was like, I can't eat anything because if I eat anything, I'll throw up. And I'm not big on, if I feel it, I'll be like, sitting there, like holding it in because I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't taste good. It's not. And I think from like the whole time that I've been here, like with Victor, he's only seen me do it once when I got seasick on the cruise. That's the only time.
That's a long time. Only once?
That I've actually had to, only once because I don't like it. I will, if I can
you
fight
rather
it,
have diarrhea than throw up?
That's right. Blow my booty hole. I don't care. I'd rather die that way than the other way. It's just not cool.
Oh, I'm tearing up.
Yeah, I'd rather deal with that than the other thing. I don't know. It's just my preference.
You guys heard it here first. Blow your booty hole.
My booty hole out. I don't care.
Oh man.
But and then Vic was also like, I think and then we had snow that Tuesday, so he just stayed home because he also got sick Monday. He was like texting me like, I'm coming home early.
What version did he have? The booty hole?
Like, neither do I. I had booty hole. Booty hole. We got booty hole. I think just because we're older, we're able to control that.
I'm sure he's gonna love when he hears this.
Yeah, booty hole. Can you not? He's probably sitting out here like, what is she talking about? Booty hole. He could hear me.
What did you guys take?
I didn't take nothing. I let it flow because I'm very big on like if you stop something that's supposed to be happening because you're sick and you gotta
feel like you need to get rid of it
anyway.
Instead of like suppressing it.
Yeah, because if I do that, I feel because then it's for me. It's always been counter and like I'll take like let's say what is it Imodium to stop diarrhea, right? I can't because then I'll be constipated for the week.
Gotcha.
And I won't be able to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, why am I going to do that? So I just let it be. And I think I got better pretty quickly because I'm very good about drinking tea, like the natural stuff. I'll look for something I can do coconut water to keep hydrated. I'm very proactive of what I'm putting into my body, especially after the surgery. I've been very like that gallbladder situation. I don't know. I feel like I needed that and they took it out. So now I'm like suffering silently with other things. I know.
So how long did it take for you guys to get better?
I don't know. What day did you get back? No, you didn't even get back. What day did I talk to you? I think I was fine like Wednesday.
I think we spoke on
Wednesday. Yeah. I was fine Wednesday because I took Milo to class Thursday. Or did I not? No, I didn't take Milo to class Thursday because he had a reoccurrence because he was telling me that his stomach was hurting. Yeah, that's right. 2:15.
I think you told me that in the text.
Okay, so because I forgot Valentine's Day happened. And Sienna was fine. She went to school. She came back with all this candy. They
ate the candy?
Ate all the candy.
Even though they were sick?
Oh my God. Listen, I'm going to tell you. I tell these kids, don't eat candy. You don't feel good. Yeah. Your stomach's going to hurt more. Nah. All right, do you? But you cleaning your ass is what I said. You cleaning your own ass. And then I was like, they ate it and Thursday for sure. Milo, my stomach hurts. And it was like shrieking, screaming because he was getting stomach pains. And then I'm going to tell you, I've never heard a little boy make the noises that came out of his stomach and his booty hole. It was like, and I was like, I looked over at him because I had him sitting
like a New York
on a
City
chair
radiator.
I was like, I was like, was that you? And he's laughing, but he's like, my stomach hurts, and I'm like, okay. And sure enough, he went.
He's still in diapers, or the potty training went through?
Okay. He's still in diapers.
Well, no, because it would have been worse. I feel like it would have been worse if he wasn't in the diapers.
Oh yeah,
he would have farted and then like, but surprise.
It would have been, hello, I gotta clean you all over again. But so Thursday he wasn't doing good. Friday, okay, and then we got the vacation time because we have this week off. But everybody's fine. Finally. Finally. I think we're okay now. Finally. I was into something else. It's just because I think she has a birthday party tomorrow, and it's at one of those
like a
playhouse things.
Oh, that's full of germs.
I told her sanitize your hands. Because the stomach bug is running rampant. I was like, if we get this shit again, I'm gonna be mad.
There's like a whole article on it and everything. That's why I'm glad like we were talking about it, because I told Tom that you guys were sick. He's like, oh man, that sucks. Like, I'd rather have this than a stomach virus, like congestion and all that.
No, I'd rather have a stomach virus than the congestion, because I hate not being able to breathe.
I hate throwing up.
I don't like it.
Tom is the opposite. Tom will be like if he's hungover, he's drinking too much, he'll like if you know how if you drink too much, you feel like you need to throw up or something like that. Like he'll easily go make himself throw up to feel better. And like because he's like you feel better afterwards, and like you could just keep on whatever. And I'm like, that's crazy. I'm not. No. But then the thought of having diarrhea, like I don't want that either. I don't want. Nope. I don't. And then you can't exercise. You can't. You're literally like in bed curled because like no. I don't want a stomach virus.
I didn't get a chance to be in bed, girl. Well, everybody else did.
Welcome to motherhood.
Everybody else did. It's like, I don't get a chance. And I always tell my sister that, because she's always like, I want kids. And I'm like, think about it. You get to be a baby by yourself at home. Yeah. When you don't feel well, you don't get that opportunity. No. You will absolutely die. Yeah. Is what I told her. Because she likes to, when she's sick, she likes to be sick, you know? And she'll put the
movies on. She'll curl up. Yeah.
Yeah. You know? And I'm like, you don't get that opportunity. You have to be taking care of everybody else. Or do whatever you have to do as a normal like as a normal person.
There is no break.
You'll be sick, but you don't get a chance.
I had a fever yesterday. Yeah, and I was sweating through and I was working. And like you know, I was like, what am I doing? Like what am I doing? I can't even take a break. I was literally sweating, like dripping. Like I was working, I was like typing. There was sweat dripping from my arms. And at one point I was like, oh my God, I had a bra on. And at one point I was like, this is soaked. Like that's how much I was. It's so gross. But I got to the other part of the sickness. So, because that's the thing, like, you know the phases. You're like, I just need to get through this phase and all that. And like you.
I was like, it's a mental game.
You just got to push through.
I'll tell you that. Push through. And I tell myself, you can't let yourself, like, don't sit down, like, try.
I didn't work out yesterday, but I worked out the day before. And that helped me. And I think that's what progressed it. So, like, all right, next stage, you're going to sweat this out. You're going to get the fever and, like, sweat it out and all that. But I think the workout helped me a lot. And then I was like, oh, no, today I'm not working out. I need to let my body.
Yeah, I've been having issues with just sweating.
What do you mean, you're sweating too much?
No, I guess, I don't know. I didn't realize that I was sweating when I was wearing like this wool sweater. Like this is not as thick as one I was wearing. And I broke out in the biggest hives in my scar area of the surgery. And I didn't realize this until afterwards. And I'm like, why is this so itchy? This whole thing was covered in hives. I have to cover it right now. I'm wearing like those silicone cover things for scars. I have to put it on top because I can't rub on anything anymore. Maybe wear a tank top
underneath the sweaters.
Like super sensitive.
Because it's new skin.
Nothing. It's nothing. I'm like, ugh,
oh wait, but you said you're sweating more?
Yeah, well, I was sweating. I guess the location of where it is, I kind of sit hunched sometimes, so the sweat traps, just in general, the heat traps there. So it's like really bad where that is. And so it's not healing as fast as the others are, I guess. It's still kind of like red sometimes. It's not infected. It's fine now because I put that silicone thing on. But that was another thing I was dealing with just before
everybody got sick,
we got sick. I was like, I got to take care of this because if I like break out, I have to go to the hospital.
Because you want to make sure it doesn't get infected.
To get checked out.
Ugh.
But I put like cortisone cream on it. It made it worse. I tried covering with gauze. The gauze and the tape made the hives worse. I got like an allergic reaction to that, which I've never had before. In that area only. And I was like, all right, so I'm just gonna wash it. So I got like, did you try that? So I thought it had started because I put coconut, like cocoa butter.
No, you can't do the cocoa butter.
To kind of like moisturize it. And I was like, ooh, this is bad.
You gotta do coconut oil.
I was like, ooh, this is really bad. So I didn't do anything. All I did was I washed it.
Okay.
I dried it. And what did I put on it? Nothing. I left nothing on it. I just put that silicone thing on. And as much as I wanted to scratch, I focused on scratching like another part, like my back or something. And it went away. I'm back to normal now.
Yeah, maybe just wear a tank top underneath all your sweaters to create that barrier.
That's what I was thinking too.
H&M has like really good like 5-packs or 6-packs, and they're cheap.
And I'm like, I've never had that like reaction to my skin before.
But like it's new. So it's a new thing. Yeah. And with the sweating, it might be a reaction from the removal of the gallbladder or something. Maybe it's your body regulating.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah. I think it's just my hormones are fluctuating. Okay.
Anything that you remove or add to your body, it's gonna mess with your hormones. Like, I'm a big believer in all that. So you're probably going through an adjustment phase.
I'm drinking teas for all that stuff. You should see my stuff. Like, all these teas that I've been like researching. What can I take for this? What can I take for that?
What should I take for this? For the congestion?
This stuff.
I'm asking you.
I don't know. I do echinacea.
Yeah. I know it, but I don't know how it's pronounced.
With and echinacea, I think it's pronounced. And it has spearmint or peppermint or something.
I have a mint green tea, and then I put cayenne because it'll help open up all the stuff. Honey, lemon, and I put cinnamon. Well, Tom learned the recipe, so
do echinacea, and there's a tea that's called respiratory tea or something. I don't know what it has, like a different
leaves,
types of
herbs
in it. You have to check and look at to see if you can take. But well, I think that's good too. I think my sister tried that, like when she was feeling her sinuses coming up, and it actually helped her.
I've been massaging because
it helps too.
Like right now, it's runny because I've been massaging.
If you like push in, you got to be really push in and push out towards the bottom.
And I dig in. But like I'm puffy, like my lips are puffy. All this is puffy. Now, if my lips can stay like that and the rest goes down, that's great. But anyway, it's this is another catch-up episode. This is what we ended up doing. We had topics in mind, and we will have a guest coming up, which we'll talk offline too, because there's been a lot of topics online of just motherhood stuff, and I feel like there's just so much of the commenting of certain things. And granted, when you put your shit online, like your personal stuff online, you're opening yourself up to criticism and all that stuff, right? Obviously, you and I had a conversation beforehand because we had to be okay with that too. But I just feel like there's certain things that just let somebody vent. Let somebody like talk about how tough their day was, whether you're a mom or a dad or whatever it is, without having to compare for the other. Like those are certain topics that I feel like that the daycare debate, like all these things that I keep seeing. And it's like, why are we even having a debate over this? Why can't we just say, this is the struggle we're going through? Does anybody have a solution? Does anybody have a, like, you know, something else to add on that might be helpful, as opposed to then critiquing or criticizing that person? I don't know. I was just, that was one of the things that I was, and I know I sent you a couple of things that we could discuss going further. But we'll see, because we had topics planned, but we needed to do catch up because there was so much crap that happened.
I know, we're still behind.
So much stuff that happened. Everything. But it should, moving forward, right? Because Vic has a different schedule now.
Yes, he is. Yes, schedule changed again.
I will have a more normal schedule now that I've let go of this job and have my weekends free again. And then we'll get back to our consistent recording phase. And thank you to all of you guys that have, been listening still, even with the sporadic here and there episode. An inconsistent, I should say, episode release. And if you want to be a guest, feel free to reach out. The email will be down there. It's just what'snewmamapodcast@gmail.com. And then our Instagram page, you can DM us too for topics. If you want to be a guest, if you have any feedback at all too, feel free to, or suggestions on things when you're hearing us talk about our struggles and even our challenging relationships that we have with some people. I will say this. I'm very grateful that we were able to, as challenging as it was, I'm very grateful that I was able to go away on vacation with my mom. There are certain moments that we just hugged each other, and it was just nice to be with her. Because you just don't know. You don't know when things change from one day to the next, And it was nice to see her with Derek, interact with him, play with him. He's more comfortable with her now. I'll be like, you want to call Abuela? He's like, yeah. And he'll go, dance. And he'll start dancing for her. And that's his new thing. And the trumpet thing that he does now. He'll put his lips like that. He's blowing a trumpet. He'll do all these things for her. And he'll play with her. And then she'll be like, ¿Qué me dice? ¿Qué me está diciendo? Because he'll talk to her in English. So that made me feel so good that happened, But yeah, I guess I'm trying to say whatever challenging relationships, as long as it's not a toxic relationship, I would say don't give up on it. There was a time where I did give up on the relationship with her, trying to build that, but I'm glad we didn't, because here we are. It still has its issues, but it's way better than before, and I'm very grateful that we have that. And so it's complex. Being a mother, being a woman is complex. Being a human being, period, is complex. But I think the important part is just setting boundaries, speaking on your feelings in a respectful way. And if you don't, owning it after the fact, right? Acknowledging what you could have done better, and then trying to have that understanding. And if the person meets you halfway, or if they at least put in an effort to try, that to me, that's all you need, So anyway, that's my takeaway from all this. Anything you would like to add?
No.
I'm
not at all. No.
Your little catchphrase. What do you mean?
That. You want me to say?
I don't know if you had any tips for people that are going through kids with, exorcism, throwing up, and diarrhea.
No tips here. Just try not to throw up too.
But no, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next episode.
Yes, and remember, you're doing a good job.
Bye, guys.